course. And today's agenda will be talking about the AWS Cloud Economic Center, and I'll be also talking about some comparison with other cloud and high-level comparison with other cloud providers. Okay. Then it depends if the student wants me to discuss their issues and other things, we can continue tomorrow, or we can have a closure of the course. So this is what we covered until now. We already have discussed about cloud essentials, AWS basics, regions, availability zones, compute, EC2, auto scaling, templates, EBS, another part, network content, VPC, uh, and custom VPC, default VPC. We talked about NAT, NAT gateways, NAT instances. We talk about subnets and NACLs. Okay, and we talk other high level parts of the network and content delivery. We talked about storage, that is your block storage, file storage, and object storage like S3. We talk about the S3 storage classes. We talk about the lifecycle management rules, and we talked about how to create a static web. We saw how to create a static website using S3. We talk about the IAM rules and AWS organization. We talked about CloudWatch and CloudTrail, the monitoring and auditing tools in management and governance. We saw the basics of database. We Now we are able to know what is RDBMS, what is what is a NoSQL database. AWS provides uh, n number of RDBMS databases like MySQL, SQL Server, Oracle, and other part, and it supports DynamoDB as a NoSQL database. We saw the well-architected migration services yesterday, where the cloud framework designed by, guided by AWS. We saw the design principles of a well-architected framework. We now know the 5 pillars of well-architected AWS well-architected framework. Okay, and we saw some migration services like Snow Family for offline migration, offline data migration, and other. We talked about data transfer, data sync, and online transfer through SFTP and FTP, those things. And today we'll be talking about cloud economics and cloud provider comparison.
Yeah, Faisal, before you start, so I have something.
Tell me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Tell me.
Okay. So actually, what happened yesterday? We got some request. I think our another admin, Mr. Subur, he may call you. So we got some requirement like what if you, this is a real time requirement actually. So if you are aware about the Alkhair services, so what we give is like we have a library where a student come and we have the reports. We have what is called equipment and center. We have computer center. We have tailoring. So these all the services are here. So previous everything and we give the micro hand loan, free hand zero interest free hand loan. So we have a lot of manual database before. So now we are going digital. So we are going with the app based inquiry form, all library things to be on the in the form based and everything. So we need a storage and we need something. So now how we can make us fit our organization into the cloud, and what will be the in how we can manage it in with the minimum expenses. So can you give me that figure? Like, can you explain that thing, and also costing size also?
Can I? Yeah, you don't want me to take it online, or I can work out it and I can provide you the solution. Will it be fine? Because I need to just.
Let's do one thing. In tomorrow's session, you can explain this. You understand, right? If we have multiple services where we will have a data into. Previously, we had a manual work, so now we will have everything in app based. It will store somewhere. So instead of maintaining some this database into the infrastructure, we want to take the cloud. So if we take any server into cloud and it is up and running 24/7, so for what is the monthly cost, how much storage, and we need to we have planned for the URL as well. So if you open that URL, so what will be the cost for that? So those things we want.
So
This will be
those
real
things
time.
in today's topic, I'll be talking about the pricing calculator. So that thing will will help you in getting those costing and but for your if you want a specific requirement for your this thing, I can also do that. That is not an issue.
Yeah. So like for this specific one, so let's you can work today, work on it, and tomorrow in tomorrow class, I think Subur sir, he will also join. So he wanted to understand like if we move to the cloud, so what will be things required and what will be the costing size, how many servers, how many instance required, like is it like for the URL hosting, what are the things? So those things he want to understand. So he may join tomorrow as well.
So
So or he
you can give me my number also to Subur, or you can provide me Subur's numbers also. For any baseline this thing, I'll also have a word with him, and then I
so
can yeah.
No, actually, we want to make this understand to our students also. As per him,
Okay,
he
no
said,
issues, no issues.
let's
Yeah,
have one session, like tomorrow session. You plan for this real time deployment.
no issues. But for any other things that I may require during the workout, give me Subhu's numbers also. So if there is thing,
Yeah,
I'll speak to you.
sure.
Okay. So we come to cloud economics center, like cloud framework, economics benefits, economic features, economic tools, trusted and advisor, and so on. Okay. So I will just this is just an so whatever Nadeem was explaining, right? Today, actually, I was able to provide you those information regarding the cost, because whatever we design, because if you may have seen in this course, right? Everything is chargeable. Okay, nothing is free. Yeah. So it has to be, your design should be in such a way that you don't lose money, or you optimize your cost accordingly. So when we talk about cost, this thing we always have economics, cloud economics center that talks about your costing, right? So the value of cloud extends beyond total cost of ownership reduction. So as I told you, right, any design, be it your on-prem data center design, or it may be a cloud design, okay, you may always have a total cost of ownership. Okay, you can plan it for 1 year, or it can be scalable to up to 1 to 3 years. For example, if I take a new server today, okay, uh, uh, and the cost of the server will be okay xyz amount, okay, for having the licensing on whether I'm using Linux or whether I'm using Windows, it will be an additional xyz amount for those licensing per year, or per 3 years. The hardware cost may come around 1 to 3 years, like 1 year for the device, and then 2 years plus warranty. Okay. So and then we may have the staff cost to administer that account, or that particular server, right? So those costs will, once you do that, and you say, okay, for today when I buy the cost, it will be this much, but one second year I will only pay for the warranty cost or the licensing cost, and the third year I'll be doing the same. So this is how you calculate the total cost of ownership. Okay. So AWS customers also see significant improvements in other areas, including staff productivity, operation resilience, and business agility. Leading organization understand the value of using AWS is not limited to cost savings. The cloud value framework helps customers understand the business value of moving to an building on AWS cloud. So AWS cloud framework consists of cost savings, that is the total cost of ownership, infrastructure cost saving, and avoidance from moving to the cloud or TCO reductions. Staff productivity, as I told you, efficiency improvement by function on task by task basis, operational resilience, benefit of improved availability, security, and compliance, and business agility. So I'll just have something. So what are the benefits is already mentioned in the book. I'm referring my book actually. So AWS economic benefits, the economic benefit of using AWS services. So it is these all the benefits that we get. So economic features, no upfront investment, pay as you go, pay less than you reserve. And what are the tools that we have for? So we have a pricing calculator, we have cost optimization tool is there, simple monthly calculator tools are there. If you are talking about migration, we have a migration evaluator tool. So just and we already spoke about the trusted advisor earlier in our lecture. So just to so when you on the AWS site we have a term called Cloud Economic Center. So this is what it gives you the details, the value of cloud extends beyond total cost, ownership reduction, AWS customer, and so on. And then you have a AWS cloud framework that is cost savings, staff productivity, operation resilience, business. So what is it? Infrastructure cost savings. So an example is already you can check there is a case study attached to it. Okay, you can always have a look. Staff productivity, there is a case study attached to it. So over 500 hours per year of server configuration time saved. So admin cost is saved. Operation resilience, critical workloads run in multiple AZs and regions for robust DR, and business agility, launch of new products of 75%. So this is where you get all the information regarding cost. Now, coming to this, the economics of the cloud cost economics, right? We have a tool called, uh, I'll just, I'll first show you the simple monthly calculator. Suppose I need an estimate that as Nadeem said, right? That he's an Alkhair is a company where all the things were earlier on-premise setup, okay, and as they want to do digitalize and be flexible globally, okay, so they are trying to move it to the cloud. So there are some things that needs to be what is the compute power they are using right now, okay, what is the data that they need, whether they want a complete a three-tier web architecture, okay, or what other things are attached to that architecture, okay, how many instances will be required as in web, what is the database that will be required to maintain their accounts and other what for example what ERP services currently they are using it. So those are the assessment tools that we need to check it out for them, and based on that tools or based on that assessment we'll design, we'll say how many services, like for example, if I need a Linux web server, right? So there are lots of tools you can say. Now in simple monthly calculator, right? Earlier we used AWS used to recommend the simple monthly calculator just for an estimate. It is not an real time estimates that will provide you, but it just to have what is the overall estimate that you can get while designing the architecture, right? So AWS is normally is going to discard this simple monthly calculator and now is focusing on AWS pricing calculator. So just to show you, earlier whenever I used to go through it, I used to go through the simple monthly calculator. So you can have how many instances required. So I say one instance, what is the usage? It can be day wise, week wise, month wise. Okay. And then we have Linux on, we can have a T2 medium server. What will the billing options will be there and what will be the monthly cost? Okay. And suppose in this environment, I may require a Windows server also with IIS enabled, or I may have a requirement of SQL database using with Windows, or Alkhair may have existing some setup using some part of database regarding SQL or MySQL. Okay. So those I can add that Windows instance over here. It can be hourly, daily, week, depends on the case to case scenario. Okay, what is the license that can be used, whether uh, uh, whether I want it with on demand, so I don't know I have to pay upfront. If I don't want to pay upfront cost, okay, so I may always go on demand, that is pay as you go. Okay, but on demand cost is little bit higher than the other reserve instances and saving plans or spot instances, this thing. So if I can select 1 year or no upfront reserved, I can reduce the cost. You see, first it is 515, then it comes to 472. If I go with 3 year cost, okay, it reduced to 451. So this is how you can or if you want partial upfront convertible, or if you want so any upfront cost will always reduce. But what is the thing that you are paying X amount on as an upfront value to AWS to use your this thing. But if you don't want, if you want some instances only for web instances, whenever I want, I can scale in, scale out. We can go on demand. So then with compute, you can have, as I told you, we have dedicated host, dedicated instance. Like if you want a physical server on the AWS platform to be this thing, you can always choose it. Okay. Depends case to case scenario. Okay. Then storage, EBS volumes. So any instance, right? I may require a persistent data attached to it, right? So for example, I may have an specific OS or specific application running on the Linux instance, right? And I don't want the data, the whatever transaction I do on those instance, it should not be it should not be lost, right? So I'll be always using EBS attached to it for my persistent this thing, for my block storage environment. If I'm using a file storage, I'll always opt for EFS. If I acquire like like Alkhair, right? They're normally they're in a particular this thing, they are doing lots of other activities like training or helping needy persons, or they may have brochures to be published or on a digital platform. They may have some announcement to be done on a digital platform. Okay, those can be you can use the object storage, S3 object storage in if you in regards to AWS. So this is how you can get, and once you do this, right? Once you come over here, you have data transfer. So earlier I had a slide explaining you. Yeah, even your my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Just a second. So AWS data transfer. So if you see, inbound traffic is typically free. Okay, not all inbound traffic, but most of the inbound traffic are free. But what do you charge for it is the outbound traffic. When we say outbound, means leaving the AWS premises to the user or customer. Okay. Inbound means coming from a user, coming from the customer. Okay. So direct outbound data starts from $0.98. So this was already shared in your WhatsApp. This thing. This is how. So we also need to know about though we when we create an VPC, what will be the data transfer cost that will require. Okay, whether it's via the internet or whether we are using any direct connectivity like private link or direct connect or using direct connect from AWS. Okay, to have my low latency applications running to connect from on-premise to an AWS Cloud Center through over a direct connect link. Okay. So depends what service we use. Based on that, every whatever components that we checked on AWS, there is a always apart from IAM or apart from your AWS organization, which will be no or well architected tool where there will be no cost for it. But there are many services that may incur cost. Okay, so we should be knowing that things. So this is where you can data transfer out what. So as an assessment, this thing, right, these are all things that we need to take care, right? uh, what is the data that is required? So what is the amount of data, whether it's a file storage data, whether is an whether you want a low latency data, you want persistent data, or it is a block level data, or whether now for EBS, right? Now if you see snapshots, a snapshot, I said that I want one snapshot of this EBS volume just for a backup. So where can I store this snapshot? I can store it into S3 bucket. Okay, so whenever I require, like we in a data center environment, right? I have a server. Okay, particularly suppose I have a file storage server or a Windows-based file storage server. Okay, uh, I may have the partition. I may have, I may have a D drive or D drive partition over there, and I'm sharing that D drive with other users, and so that they can store their particular document files or PDF files or any related files on that server, right? So in normally what we used to do, we always either it will be a disk backup, or a backup will be a daily backup will be there on a disk or on a tape drive. Okay, where and it can be kept it will be an incremental backup, right? Suppose today I took a full backup, and after second day I may whatever changes in that backup has done, I'll only save that. That is known as incremental backup. So those things are kept on the tapes, and whenever any recovery is required, we can run the tapes. That is I'm talking about the data center, on-prem data center environment. In AWS, you can always take a snapshot and you can restore that snapshot whenever required. So I'm clear until now on this part.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this you can always, as I showed, the cost changes region to region. Okay, it differs region to region. So if you see what I have choose for North Virginia, I just select the region North Virginia, and you can see what is the cost estimate, right? You can always save and share these things. So it is only not now as we discussed our instance, right? So if you remember that we will not talk only about instance, right? So we may attach a route 53 for our DNS configuration. Routing will be there. Okay, we may use CloudFront if you are talking about web. Okay, and I want my web servers to be accessed globally over the world with low latency benefits for my users. I may always go for CloudFront. So as you then I may have a database attached to it. So I can attach n number of things. Like right now I'm talking about EC2. Suppose I go for EC3 for S3 bucket. And with this EC2, I want the S3 bucket also. As I go on increasing my demand or requirement, okay, my estimate will change and everything will be added over here. So I can get an overall estimate, maybe a monthly payment that needs to be provided. So any questions until now? So similarly,
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, as you're talking about the pricing and all, so we have, as you said, that we can choose any of the region, and it depends as per the region to region. Cost depends on the region to region.
Yes.
Then which region is reliable, or which region is very cost effective in the terms of the pricing?
It's not
or any particular.
See, right now, see, I am located in India, right? Okay,
Yes.
and now North Virginia is in North America, right? Okay, if I
Yes.
have a scenario that all my users are based in India, okay, I know that my
Yes.
all my users, whatever applications they will access, it will be based on Indian region. Okay, so will it be better I select India for my this thing, or I should select North Virginia?
Okay.
I will select
So,
Indian.
so
So
yeah, you will.
yeah. So feature wise, why I always select Virginia for my this thing is that whatever latest, because all this main data center now, all this top parent data center is in North Virginia. So whatever new features that comes in AWS are implemented here first in North Virginia.
Okay.
Okay, and then
So,
slowly and steadily
for
they
the
are
best
replicated.
practice,
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, yeah.
for the best practice, we should take the North Virginia
It
for the practice and
it
all.
always see all it always depends. I will show you on it always it is always depends on case to case scenario. What did
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
just
as you said that
I'll
it
just explain you.
depends.
I'll just explain you. Just,
Okay.
just, So I'm taking an example of the Alkyl Society, right? Like
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Nadim told us, right, that currently, they are an NGO. Okay, they may have accounting. Okay, they may have your no like data storage, data storage like files or you know file or like browsers or this thing they may be requiring. When I say accounting, it may be an ERP, like yeah, uh, they may have some, they may have inventory of their some assets and other things will be there. They may have, a digital platform. They may be not currently a digital platform, but they may look for a digital platform for their, for right now whatever sessions they are recording, they are stored.
Yes.
Okay. Mute yourself. Okay. In YouTube, right? So they may say, no, I want a specific custom based website or a digital platform where I can have my all my playlist over here of all my video sessions of, means specific to their, specific to their topic specific. Now as they may currently there will be in Hyderabad, okay, and all manually they may be, they may be have some minimum servers, right, minimum infrastructure, like they may have a file server, they may have an email server, okay, running into Windows, or they may be paying some basic licensing for that. Okay. And they may have some, staff or a contractor, okay, uh, so providing the services, providing the maintenance services for these things. Okay, and currently they may be all the they will, access will be either through a VPN access for their admin users, okay, or for our internet access, like they are storing all thing in YouTube and other things, right? Uh, so now, as they are based in Hyderabad, right? Tomorrow they say, they say that I want to access, I want to have my complete, complete digital platform to be accessed globally. Okay, I'm a user, an Indian user. Okay, and I'm accessing for a particular like alkhair.com. That if I'm accessing over from here, the latency will be less for me, right? Because it is currently it is stored in my local Hyderabad region. But suppose I am accessing it through US, I may I may have the buffering issues. Why? Though my ISP may provide my caching services and other things, I still have a buffering issue, right? So what solution can be done? Yes, no. Okay, I can put this on a cloud. I can have a digital platform on a cloud, whether it is AWS or because we are talking about AWS Essentials, so I'll say AWS Cloud. Okay, I'll have that. No, I can have an instance as a web server, multiple instance stored in multiple AZs. Okay, for fault tolerance, because I don't know what amount of users will access it, right? If I say globally, I don't know how many hits can be there per day. Okay, so that I will always opt for a single a server with maximum of 3 or 2 auto scaling requirement. Then this thing will be. I will just. So if you see earlier, earlier uh, we said that we may have, this may be alkhair.com. It can be an ELB. Okay, I may have 2 Web 1 and Web 2. I can have an active test setup. Concerns the ELB. This will take care of my load balancing. Okay, I may require an R53 for the DNS, like alkhair.com. Okay, now depends. Now, if you say I want a web environment with a particular, a single alkhair. If I say I log in as an admin, okay, so all details regarding that admin, like access to accounts, okay, access to inventory, access to upload of digital data, upload of data should be there. If I log in as user, access to digital platform. Okay, so definitely if I'm using this right now, definitely my web environment will not be in a static format, right? It will be always dynamic. Okay. So when I say dynamic, I have to attach to a database. So in an environment, right, like this can be I will say AWS region. So I can choose, currently I have Mumbai. I can choose Mumbai. Okay. And we can have, I will have a VPC attached to it. Okay. and then I can connect this, and I can connect this to a different AZ, where I can, like this is in Mumbai, you have AP South 1. I can say AP West AZ. I can have my database. It can be, depends on what software that we may using in healthcare. Suppose in case we are using Windows server with SQL, I can use that as a database, and this thing will be accessing over there. So now, if I want, if I want low latency to my other global users, I can always, I can also have, I can also select S3 for my S3 bucket. I can create a bucket to store my snapshots of my DB and the web servers over there. I can also use S3 for my JPG, browsers, static data, static objects, or files, or documentation. I can always do that. And then I can use CloudFront edge locations for caching purpose. Okay. I can always use, I can also use routing policies that we saw. Right, simple routing, dynamic latency based routing, that also I can use, or if you want and geo restriction, that we can do. So am I clear that what we can do, what we can do with this, and depends on what components I am going. Maybe it's a per day cost, or if I say I need a DB, I may require a DB for minimum of, when I am assessing it, I am saying I will require it at least a minimum of 1 year. So I may always go for a reserve instance, right? I will reserve it this for 1 year so that I can save cost. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So maybe as Nadeem said, that we may, whatever today I'm explaining, actually as Nadeem said that it has to be in a practical way, but this is what it is. How we will do it? We will be doing by this, right? We will then come to pricing calculator. So now, as I said, simple monthly calculator will be discarded. You will have a pricing calculator, right? So you can have test budget estimate, Asia Pacific, Mumbai, quick estimate. Okay, what operating system you require, you can select it. Okay, then whether you want, what instances measure on what vCPUs and memory. So you can always specify which way, or if you don't know which instance family to choose, you can always go over here and choose your specific instance family. Okay. You can always click over here. So if you can increase, come down, if you increase the CPU size, like vCPUs to 8, sorry, okay, see, you see the family changes. If you say 2 to 4, see T4G. So this is how you can do it, or else you can always know the family, which family, so it can be compute optimized, it can be storage optimized, it can be accelerated optimized, GPU optimized, and so on. So number of quantities, like I said, 2. Then you have pricing strategy, right? So if on demand, no upfront cost. So if I go to saving plans, I may have 75% of this thing, but I have to reserve it for 1 year. So I have an option for partial upfront. Upfront means I will pay in advance. Okay. If I say no upfront, it definitely a bit of cost will be higher, but I don't have to pay in advance, right? but I will reserve it for 1 year. So 1 year usage for that particular year, billing will be there accordingly. I can do partial upfront also, so half payment, and then whatever I use. Okay. Then you can have you compute saving plans, similar as if you can go for standard reserve instances are there. Okay, or you can. So it depends case to case scenario what we need to choose depending on your cost. Then, as I told, I may require an elastic block storage attached to this thing. So just give the storage this thing, and if you see over here, it shows the calculation also. So 2 instances into 0.36 USD for that particular region. I think so there is a region. Okay. So I selected Mumbai. Okay. So if I select, so Mumbai, let's see the cost is how much? $0.36, 0.036. Let's see what's the
So,
cost.
Faiz bhai, this costing can we check in INR?
Mostly it gives me. I never actually normally I checked in but when you have the billing, right, when you see the billing, it automatically converts into INR. So if I
Okay.
show you, I will show you that. I'll show you.
Nadeem sir,
Yes, sir.
yeah, as you asked the question that INR, it never, when I tried it, it never shows me the INR, but it converts the everything into INR if you, based on your country. It converts
No,
the local country.
that is at the time of billing, right? But right now, if suppose I want to estimate that I want to provide INR data to my management. So in that case, there should be some option for currency change. That's I'm looking for.
So in this, I think so there is no option for currency change, but it automatically does it whenever it when you get a billing or estimate. But I will check it out. I will check it out. I didn't check that part. Okay, I will check it about that. Right now,
I'll also check and update you.
Okay. So this US North Virginia, right? If I select, okay, you will get your pricing. See, and how it is doing it. Same thing. 2 instance into 0.3, 0.06 into 730 hours in a month. Okay, that is if you can calculate out 24 hours into 30, it can come out around 750 or 730 hours, and it will cost you around, for 2 instances it will cost you 49 USD month on demand cost. If I select EC2 1 year, this is what it will give. 365 days into 24 hours into 1 hour. It will give you all your calculations over here. Upfront cost, or if you go for upfront cost, it will be this. If you have an if you say no upfront cost, let's say no upfront cost, so it will change. It has changed to this one. Total commitment. This is what it will give you. So depending on the storage also, similar thing. 100 GB, because I am using 2 instances into 0.10 USD, but you can always differ what type of storage you require. Right? We have types of storage: general purpose, provision. If you want a database is running and you want higher IOPS to higher read transactions are there, or higher read write transactions, so you can always go for IOPS. If you have a cold data storage, cold data like a file server, this thing, I can also go for a throughput optimized this thing. So this is how you can also save cost. But you should know what data. It depends on data to data. If it's a transaction data, higher read, I may always opt for higher the IOPS one. If you want big data to be processed, processing power is required with a higher read and this thing, I'll always go for IOPS. So general purpose and SSD will give you better IOPS also. Okay. So this is how then you will get you get your estimate over here. Yes, say add to my estimate. Okay, this is how it is. It is there. Okay. You can say North Virginia. So I see Asia Pacific Mumbai also it is showing me USD. If there is any, let me check. So that whenever it comes over here. Let's say. So I don't think so. There is any currency option over here. It's only add service, add support. You can now for this you can add always add a basic plan of support, right? You may require technical support. As I showed you, basic enterprise support is available, and basic support plan, developer support plan. The basic is free, okay. And for your if you want trusted advisor with lots of checks that needs to run, it will give you better in developer and business. It will have minimum checks in basic support plan, but it can have many checks of that guidance that it can give you in your current AWS infrastructure. That I am talking about trusted advisor. It will give you better options in developer, business, and enterprise support plan. So this, as you go on this thing, it will affect your estimate. You can always clear your estimate, or you can save and share your estimate. You can always say you get a public link. See, you can always copy back and give it to your management to review. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So these are cost optimization. I'll share these links to you so you can go through. So there is a term called AWS cost optimization where you can choose right pricing models can be used with reserve instance. See, reserve instance save up to 72% or equivalent on demand capacity. See, so what this thing, but you are paying. You have to reserve it for a particular period of time, 1 to 3 years. If I say if I want to, where I can use Spot Instance in media streaming, if I am an OTT platform, okay, I require an instance just to stream, or I am creating and I'm doing higher rendering process for my architecture, right? Civil architecture, okay. I'm using 3D Max, or I'm using Rivet, or I'm using AutoCAD rendering process, okay, where I need a temporary instance to render my this thing, and after that you need to scale it needs to scale in. I can go for Spot Instance. That will give me 90%, but I will not be using Spot Instance for mission critical data. Why? Anyone? Why? I have already explained this.
For compliance safety, sir, for safety and security of our
No.
for
Spot Instance, Spot Instance depends on market bidding. So when
Yes.
when you say Spot Instance, you always bid for you bid a price for it, okay?
Yes,
And
yes.
you get those particular instances, unused EC2 instance from AWS platform, okay? So what will happen is that if someone in that particular period, someone bids lower than you or higher than you, okay, it will interrupt unappropriately. So that's the reason, and that's what instance that unused EC2 instance will be given to that customer. So for that reason, you should not use mission critical data on using Spot Instance. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
You can say Spot Instance is the ideal option for applications that are non-fault that are fault tolerant, scalable, and flexible. Okay, like EMR, Hadoop, Spark clusters, so on. So all your information you can get over here. This you may have viewed. Where did you view this cost AWS Cost Explorer? Anybody? Hope you are exploring the console. Anybody? Where did you view this? In which section? Practice is the key. No practice, you'll not understand anything.
So, CloudWatch is there no, sir, in that
Yes.
section.
Not CloudWatch. It's in the billing section. If you
Billing
go to
section, yes.
when you come to billing
Yes, sir.
section, you'll see this. You can create budgets. You can have cost explorer. You have saving plans, cost usage reports. Okay, you can see your invoices. Now nothing you can see over here in the billing section. It is automatically converted into INR.
Indian rupees.
But I think so in estimates I don't have that option. But I will check it out. Okay. So you say cost explorer, right? So use the pre-configured views for company. So you have monthly speed by service view, monthly spend by linked account view, whichever account we are using. If you are using multiple accounts, you can always check it in that view. You can have a daily spend view. So let's launch cost explorer. So if you can see that in Jan 1, I took a class for PSF and other things. Okay, so at that time I was using the things. You can have a high peak over there, and then you can see somewhere I have. So how I saved the cost. Whenever I did any exercise or learned any exercise or demonstrated you any exercise, okay, I try because I'm not in a commercial this thing, right? I'm a individual learning stuffs. Okay, so I always stop the instances whenever I didn't require it, or terminate my configuration whenever I didn't require it. This is where for an learning purpose you can always save cost, but on a production you cannot do that. Okay, so you have options like on spot instances, you have options like reserve instances, and so on. So you can see cost optimization. Okay, so it's showing me the last 6 months data. Okay, monthly wise, I can have monthly, daily, hourly. Okay, so you can see in October, I was working on the book from September to November. Okay, this is where I consumed a lot. So if you see the bars, right, the purple showed me EC2 excess, the EC2 one. This shows me the tax that was incurred. This showed me the ELB, the load balancer cost that was incurred. This showed me the EC2 instance cost that was incurred. This showed me the key management services, the key pairs that I used that was incurred. So in learning purpose, you should delete everything. You should terminate everything. You should not keep key pairs also, because it will have a minimum cost to it. Okay. So if you are good, so you see from September to August, I can see the report. You can filter many things over here. You can create you can have a recent report. You can create a new report also. If you come down, see in August, in September I was charged for $494. Okay, in October for total I was charged for $25, out of which EC2 cost me 11.43 because I was using on demand. See, the tax that was, because now because my account is related to what was that? I always forget that name. The AWS AIPL is something name. I will just recollect it. Where an authorized organization is created by AWS for your for your like for transaction purpose. Like it's an entity used for in India for specifically for your AWS purpose. Okay. I'll check that name for you. I always forgot that name. AIPSL private limited, something like that. So see, whatever I was doing CloudWatch, I didn't incur much. Okay, but VPC I incurred. Kinesis, I was doing some data streaming part. I incurred Elasticache. I installed some clusters. I incurred a relation database. I created some DB instance. I incurred some cost on it. Okay, Route 53. I used it. I incurred some cost on it, but I didn't use Route 53 for my web server hosting. Yeah, DNS name. I use GoDaddy DNS name and just transfer the name services to Route 53 and then use Route 53 accordingly. Then you can have reports. Okay. So you can get monthly cost report. Everything will be there. You can always use budgets. This is how create and manage budgets. Refine your budget using filters. Add notification. If you say create a budget, so you have 4 types. You can get cost budget, usage budget. If you are reserving something, you can have reservation budget or savings plans budget. So let's say check for a cost budget. So this is how you can do, right? I'm not going deep into it because you have a documentation on it. So if you see, I'm still getting my reports over here. So maximum I was charged for $25 on October, and minimum I'm charged for $1 in February. I'm doing the classes, but still I'm charged one. You know why? Because I stop the instance whenever not in use. Any questions over here?
Sir, as you showed the budget session, so whenever we create a free tier, it starts on that day, or after completing of the free tier, it starts the billing section.
As soon as you prepare an account and start using start using AWS, creating some instances and this thing, as you go on using it, you will be charged.
No, because I try to explore that part, billing and budget part. I'm not able to find that.
Well,
As I created an account, I terminated the instance, everything. So I don't get this particular.
See, in my first lecture itself, right? In the first lecture, and my very first assignment that I provided, what was that? Do you
Billing
remember?
alarm, billing alarm.
Billing alarms. Okay.
Yes, sir. I
So-
have done it and I got a notification also.
Okay. So-
I have sent you that.
So when you do that, you'll get a notification in your email address that you have exceeded. You can always have a threshold. And normally I say $1. That may be 73 rupees for you. Okay. But normally when you use it, you will always exceed it. Okay. But you can have $2, $3, whatever you want. Okay? You can do that. And that is already mentioned in my book. You can refer, the very first section is create a billing alarm. Let me check one more thing. See, I will share this thing here. How you can create a budget. You can. There's a documentation for it. So there is a very handy tool that AWS billing and cost management guide is there. Okay. So I will share this to you, and you can do this. You can always create a budget from here. So because we will not be using reservation and saving plans in a learning purpose, we can always go for cost and usage budget. So if you see this thing, everything is mentioned over here. So are you a first time billing user? Billing and cost, we do that. And this also will support you for creating a billing alarm or something like that. So what using AWS free tier, what is the eligibility? Everything is provided over here. So alerts and notifications. Okay. And so what are the AWS free limits? So everything is provided over here. How you can manage your account, manage an account in India. So I always forget this name. Amazon Internet Service Private Limited, AISPL. So whenever you create an account, it is created under this entity. Local AWS, it is a local AWS seller in India. And that is where you get automatic conversion of your currency. It is based on location, right? You are signing of AISPL. Whenever you do a free account, you're signing the terms and condition with Amazon Internet Service Private Limited. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're clear.
Just a second. Okay. So mostly we spoke about many of these things, right? And the links I will be forwarding it to you. Okay. One thing that now I'll say, you may say, why should I go with AWS? Because I hear that I have Microsoft Azure also, I have Google cloud provider also. Okay, so why AWS? Okay, so currently actually I'm also in process by rebrushing my skills on AWS on Microsoft Azure. Okay, so I'm going from a fundamental to architect level course with an expert. Okay, maybe in 1 or 2 months I'll be in the best position to write a blog on the comparison. So when you say, I'll share this link, but this is an very old link. Okay. But so cloud provider strengths, right? So it has a global reach. You see that why it has a global reach? Because it is in a retail market, wherever they are using the infrastructure for their own use also, AWS. Okay. So as they are growing, their global reach is being there automatically. Okay. And then they are sharing those, their infrastructure with other customers. Okay, so then the very first having the very first company to come with this cloud concept is AWS. Okay, and that's the reason lots of features, lots of flexibility, lots of this thing, lots of global reach, or lots of facilities or lots of services that are available, you can get in AWS. Okay, so long record of reliable resource, flexibility and wide range, because it's tried and tested, globally recognized. Okay, so very well used in large enterprises, using with big data. Yesterday I shared a link that NASA is also using the AWS cloud. What?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have gone through it.
So this is where AWS comes. When we say global reach, okay, AWS. But nowadays, if you are using federated identity, right, using Google or any other identity, this thing, AWS can be flexible for you. But if your organization is very much related to your ADA integration, Active Directory, Microsoft Active Directory integration, okay, like very robust tool for authentication purpose, then people opt for Azure. Now normally what they do, they are for global reach, they are using AWS, and they are interacting with they are integrating Azure services like for AD and other services for authentication purpose. So that also, there is a white paper for that. I'll share that white paper with you, where you are using AWS resources, and for authentication purpose you are using Azure. So offers a hybrid solution. Azure, it's still growing. on topography levels. So the regions that it has AWS has reached, it has not reached that level, but it is building itself. Okay, and there are very less availability zones available, like multiple. You can have setups for single data centers in many regions in Azure. You have availability zones in many regions, but if you talk about India, you have separate isolated data centers for Microsoft Azure, but still not connected to the lower latency links. Okay, so availability zones are still not available for India region for Azure. Then we have Google, but when if you ask me, start with AWS, always learn Azure. Okay, because people are asking now, people are asking for multi-cloud environment, right? If you go with Middle East, they'll talk about Azure and other integration. Okay, but if you go a little bit of global reach, they will always require AWS with some features of Azure. If you are using SAP, or depends on the application and the case to case scenario. So whatever I taught, right, whatever components that we took in this course, like database, compute, network, there is a common scenario in all your so when we talk about AWS, we talked about S3, EBS, EFS. When we talk about database, we talk about Aurora, RDS, DynamoDB. When we talk about backup service, your archiving service, we talk about S3 Glacier. Similar things, same category storage, but instead of using for object storage, we are using simple storage service for AWS. For Azure, it is blob storage. So you have queue storage, you can have file storage. When you talk about compute, we talk about instances in AWS. In storage in Azure, we talk about virtual machines. Here, because the platform is Zen server, here the platform is Hyper-V. Okay. So backup services, archival storage, recovery backups, site recovery, things are there. So only terminology differences there are a little bit of feature. Some feature will be very good in AWS. Okay, some feature like in blob storage or the thing. There will be some additional features available in Azure related to case scenario. AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. Azure ones, cons. Okay. So you can see, right? You always refer to the Gartner report. Okay, whenever, or IDC report, IDC Forrester report. So for that, you have to, if you are using cloud infrastructure and platform services, if you are using software as a service and or PaaS as a service, there is some different quadrant that you will get it. But if you talk about cost infrastructure and platform service, this is what AWS is still leading. So these are the things. I'll share this with you, the comparison, right? You should not go blindly follow the websites. Okay, that's the reason, what I'll do is that maybe by after Ramadan, I'll be in a better position to write the specific blog on the comparison with AWS and Microsoft Azure. Okay. So one more thing that I need to cover. So whenever So what is the roadmap? Now normally people are going for digital transformation. Digital transformation is not only with the ERP systems or this thing, right? People are now, if I'm a manufacturing company, like for example, I was working in an oil and gas company, right? So we were, our company used to build oil rigs. Okay, so they used to sell that oil rigs to, Middle East companies like Aramco or many other companies that they require. Okay. So while building the rigs, there are lots of processes that they need to need to go through, right? Like and lots of inventories were there, like because all that components were related to your metal welding purposes. Your metal is required for this thing, steel is required. Okay, so any particular time, for the costing part or the estimation part, the company implemented the ERP solution for that. Okay, so whether it's commissioning, whether it's quality management, other things, all that processes were integrated with the ERP solutions. But later on, they required, okay, how can we? I got 1,001 ton of my steel rods. Okay, how can one person can, I may require that many staff to do that. So now they are using GPS related things. They are taking the images and using the AI tool for it, for counting those rods for it, or the counting the pipes for it. This is what technology is growing into digital transformation, right? And for that, they are now working on a framework called DevOps. So in operation team, where we say system team, admin team, it will be saturated to DevOps now. It will be converted to DevOps. So this is the roadmap. No, this is the roadmap for. So you may require, some. It's better to have a high level understanding on one of the languages. Okay, maybe it be Python, maybe it be C hash. Okay, but if you are JSON, if you have Python and JSON, okay, it will help you in infrastructure as a code. You can create IAM policies using those using those languages. Then server administration. That's the reason I was focusing on Linux, because AWS, in very large environments, you will not see Windows. You'll always see Unix and Linux, because of that, hardened server that it has. Windows always have problems with patching and other things. So Unix, Windows, then we can have web servers like Apache. You don't have to know everything, but high level of it. So this is the roadmap. If you are having network security, you have to have good knowledge on TCP fundamental, TCP handshake, OSI layers. Okay, what is DNS? What is HTTPS, FTP, SSL, TLS, security, the IPsec, VPN security. These fundamentals are required. Okay. Infrastructure as a code, you can go configuration management. So there are lots of things like Chef, Puppet, Salt Stack that we talked about. Then now all your servers. When we talk about microservices, most of the server architecture is hijacked by containers. Okay, many developers are using containers. So this is where Docker is the one that we can learn. Okay, or Linux, Red Hat containers are there. Container orchestration. Okay, managing those Dockers, Kubernetes, or you can if you are having AWS. If you have AWS, what are the orchestration facility available for AWS using EC2 instances? Anyone? It is Elastic Container Services and Elastic Kubernetes Services, ECS. I think everything is vanished. I think so. You're not practicing, right? You don't practice, it is vanished. Infrastructure provisioning, Terraform, AWS. Okay. Then you have, the DevOps have continuation integration and CD, very important regarding software architectures. Okay. So these are the You don't have to know everything. No one can, even I don't know everything. So, but you can have a high level touch to this thing, right? So you can, if you talk about servers, you have to be knowing about the web server basics. Okay, talk about database that we talked about, right? We all always talked about the web server basics. We talked about the database basics where we will use SQL, where we will use um, NoSQL, where can we implement a single AZ setup, where can we implement multi-AZ in database environment. Okay, where can we using caching, CloudFront. Okay, so these are what we touched. Then monitoring logging, we talked about, these are some tools, but we talked about in AWS, we talked about CloudWatch. Okay, we talked about auditing, we talked about CloudTrail. There are many other tools that are this thing. And multi-cloud, AWS, Azure to start. Start with AWS and have a high level understanding on Azure, because this is what the market needs are. Any questions, any queries? As Nadeem explained regarding the tomorrow's session, right? So what I will have an high level architecture created for this, okay, and then we both will collaborate. I will not be telling. I'll be saying what is needed, and you have to tell me what where and what needs to be placed, okay, because everything is covered. Okay, I will help you on those parts. That is where we will learn because I know everything of this. It's no much fuss for me. Okay, but whether you have understood the concepts, whether you have done this, that you have to tell me. There is where we will analyze whether you have learned it, we have practiced it or not. Any
Assalamualaikum.
questions?
Sorry for interrupting, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
The time is over. I think.
Yeah, I am closing now. I am closing. No
Yeah.
issues. Any questions?
Sir, I was saying that tomorrow, like after we finish this, what Nadeem sir said, we can have a quick glance of what we had from day one. Like in day one, we have seen this on this topic, and then on console board. These are the options on console board in a very quick manner, just like you have shown about the billing and everything.
Yeah, I will try.
It will be as a quick revision of like in the
Because,
day one we have seen this.
If
Yes,
you have
yes.
seen, if you have seen my slides, right? I
Yes.
always